Hey everyone, just bringing you a daily update for SOL and BTC and market caps and all the other stuff that we look at. If we have a look at the one-day liquidity, and this is a pretty important one, just in case we're trying to think about weekend traps. It looks like 115k to the downside on BTC is definitely piling up, and that sort of 119, 118k to the upside piling up. For SOL. Sol actually matches up a lot with what the current structure is. So it's sort of 172 to the downside and 185 to the upside. And it's sort of showing that sentiment is being bullish. 7 days, the sentiment is looking really bullish. Obviously, there's liquidity down to lower levels like 111k, but there's also liquidity up to higher levels like 119k on BTC. The lower liquidity on SOL looks quite deep, all the way down to that sort of 160, and the upper liquidity is still not really looking that much higher. So that says to me that if they do go and grab that upper liquidity, I'd be a little bit surprised almost now. It's there to grab on the 1 day. But if they do grab it, there's just so much more to the downside to go and dump into. So maybe we do have that flush is getting pretty close. And the 30-day, technical difficulties. Let's try that again. The 30-day is looking sort of even on SOL, but just heaps of juicy shorts to go and grab on BTC. So putting it all together, you might get to see one more pump up through the weekend. But then if they clear that upper liquidity on these, then definitely a retracement, a nice sizable retracement would be due to come in and grab some of that lower stuff. So still think it's probably a time to be a little bit skeptical and just bear in mind anytime you tend to pump into and through a weekend, you usually reset the next week. Okay, so SOL, Bitcoin, there's not that many closes today, structural closes, but SOL Bitcoin has hit that rejection level that we had marked out there. It hit it coinciding with the trend, so no wonder that rejected. And it's still overextended from its other trends. So yeah, the 15678 level, basically, interesting number, 5678. It's rejecting off that, and I'd be very surprised if it pushes up any further in strength in the next 58 minutes. So look at Bitcoin. So this is your Bitcoin dominance as well as your stables dominance, so your safety assets. So it's now overextended in the other direction. So it's come down below a couple of 3-day break levels. They don't close for another day, but that would also therefore mean that you might get a break level retest when they close. And it's got support levels sitting here at about 65.4 and again down here at about 64.7. So if this was to continue dropping over the next day or so at any of these levels, then a retest of these break levels happening next week would mean that you then see your dip in risk assets as opposed to your less risky and or stables. So that's kind of lining up with overextension in one direction, while the others are overextended in the other direction. We will probably then see a correction or a dip. Total market cap is overextended to the upside. It's been pulling back on the daily. So again, it looks like everything's lining up effectively with some form of correction after the weekend trap. Look at BTC. So BTC on the daily is at a level now where, so this is actually a very, very key level. So it's 116.473 is the range break of the July 21 range. So it's also a position where it could open on the wrong side of the uptrend. So this, if it was already very, very much overextended on the daily back here on the 7th, and it's retraced to create a trend on the 8th. and now it's sort of it's gone back up. It's hit these older range levels from 13th of July and from the 26th of July. So they're all those 117 targets that we were talking about that would be resistance. So it's hit those. It's come back down here to attack the new trend, and it can open on the wrong side of that trend but still be inside the 21st of July range, in which case you might get another push, or it could go down just a little bit more in the next 55 minutes, close under trend, or open under trend, sorry, I should say, but also close under the daily range from July. So really we're watching to see if this thing closes under 116.473, because that's then kind of double bearish for a temporary pullback. If it closes over that but on the wrong side of trend, then you might still get a pump and then a pullback, which would be more in line with a weekend trap, really, to close above one, open on the wrong side, go up, hit, go down. But we shall see how that plays out. So we'll look at SOL. SOL's overextended through its interior, but it is inside of some of these older, bigger ranges. So it's positive. It basically says for SOL that whatever dip comes, as you can see, it's miles away from its daily trends. Whatever dip comes is more likely to be more of a flush, and then a bounce back up. So that's not a bad place to be closing. It's not breaking out of trend. It's not, it's not 100% like it's going to go up, but it's a better place to be than closing down below that sort of 176 level. So let's see if we skip. So we skip forward to the monthly. The monthly one is still in play. So this is sort of my main thing that I'm watching at the moment for a rejection. We entered down here in that 156 area, and we're looking at the trend as a target, which is about 186. So once it hits that, then we're back into no man's land as far as some of this high time frame stuff goes, and we can't break the monthly trend because it's got 19 days to go on the candle. So and there's weekly reasons and such for rejection and pullback. So it's looking like maybe we should just push through to that at a maximum. That could be the final hurrah for the weekend, and then maybe we reject next week. But we do have the weekly close that will come in. So I guess we'll look at that tomorrow and see how that lines up. It's just the monthly again, which is doing its thing. So yeah, there's not too much to report today because we're really just still inside these bigger moves. So I think we need to keep an eye out for this sort of 185, 186 area, as it will be the first touch of the relocated monthly trend. So that was there, came there. There is also the possibility that this monthly trend here is the range trend, because it's the first candle to actually close in accumulation into the accumulation of the hold candle of this range. So yeah, if we actually recapture that trend at the end of the month and bounce off the backside of it, then yeah, it's nothing's out of the question at that point. We are then looking at 250s or higher, really. So 240, 250, something like that. So yeah, we'll just keep an eye on that, see how it plays out. As far as the lower levels, I'm still looking for those retraces to that 153 area for the weekly levels. And 185, I think, would be a very, very, very good place to be de-risking the final parts of the monthly move. I've already taken some profits at about 179, and which was the monthly range trend from much further back. So, yep, that's all for today. I'll send an update if we get anything more, but I think it's just we're looking at maybe the daily is repositioning itself, and then we might get one more push. And if we do get that one more push, definitely that's the one to be very careful of, up into this higher trend resistance on the monthly or on the 30-day. It's sitting about the same place. And that's that 30-day range trend coming through there at 179. Yep, that's all for today. I'll flick some updates out if there's anything more. But yeah, looking pretty good. Cheers. Bye.